What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Talkbox. Check it out. You need to like and subscribe. Come on and catch a motherfucker. DOA playlist. Let's get the fucking
YouTube family and YouTube world, listen, I told you I had another special one. I have a dynamic, powerful dude with me who a producer's giant of the Bay Area. He's one of just our local heroes that's done so much work and produced a lot of records, not only in the Bay, but just all around the world. Not only that, one of the founding members of Tony and 3TOB. Y'all give a big hand and show your love for my brother, Antron, Icecream, Haile. Give it up for him. What's up, brother?
Man, thank you.
Hey, man, did I get it right? Did I get it?
Yes, you did, man. Yes, you did. And I must say that it's an honor to even be on you just sharing your platform with me. Thank you so much.
Dude, it's all my pleasure, Tron. Man, listen, you're like a diamond in the rough, man. You're like a silent riot, man. That's from the Bay Area. We've been knowing each other for years, man. There's so much about you that I'm still learning that I didn't even know. I mean, especially after watching the documentary, some things that your story was so deep, man, and it cut. And we're gonna kind of cover these things, but first of all, I want to get into. We know you're founding member of the Tonys, man, and now 3TOB. You guys, 3TOB is busy right now. Every time I look around, y'all on the radio, y'all getting your shows, you're doing a lot of stuff, man. How does it feel, man, to be back with the? I know it's different circumstances, but man, it must feel good, man, to get back with your brothers again, and do what you love most, man. How does it feel, man, right now for you?
It feels great. I'm older now, so a lot of it is tiresome, but it feels great to be around guys that I grew up with and played with, and still have that love and passion for like music and still love good music. Yes, it feels great. It's wonderful.
And to be back with you guys, man. With Lige, Carl, Jube, I mean, just with everybody, man. It's just, playing music that you guys co-created and co-wrote together in a day, and being up there on that stage, man. I saw some clips. I hate I missed the Yoshi show, but I did catch y'all sound check when y'all did a gig here in Sacramento. I was able to see y'all sound check, man, and it was just killing, just amazing, man. Everybody just sound great, man. Now you got your nephew in the band, LJ. LJ's in the band.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And he is a phenomenal musician. I mean, he's great. He's great. He's all for it, and he adds a great just like it's like when you had New Edition and they added what's his name in there?
Johnny
Gill. He just adds a different element.
Sure.
Even though the foundation was already made, he still came in and brought something a little different to it to change it up some.
Sure.
Yeah, great.
So man, and then you got Carl Wheeler. Now you got LJ. I mean, that's not fair, dude. You guys are breaking all the rules. You're cheating. And then you got Jubu, and then you got Elijah. Oh, you tripping? Y'all not playing fair. Y'all not playing fair. Y'all breaking all the rules, man. But just a great band. Listen, let's get to this, man. I saw the documentary, and I was listening to your story, man. Your story was so deep, Tron.
Yes.
And I think the thing that amazed me, man, that I didn't even know was the part when you talked about how John McClain, the John McClain, man, reached out to you. You know, during that time, we all knew how much John McClain meant to the music industry, right? I still respect the man to this day. But at that time, he was just the John McClain. It was just he was just so hard to get to, man. This dude calls you up, reaches out to you, and wants you to produce some records for artists signed to A&M Records at that time. Man, when I saw that, I was blown away because, you know, from the Tonys, I'm just thinking you're here doing your job, and we all were pretty much on the road. I was kind of writing and producing that at that time, getting my career started, but I was pretty much a bass player who wanted to someday get a call from a John McClain in my dreams, right? But then, dude, to find out that you were on the other end of a phone call from John McClain, man, about his art. Man, you got to take me through that moment, man. What was that like, bro?
It was shocking. It was most shocking because you must understand that I'm still a kid at this time. I might have been 18. I might have been, but I was between 17 and 18. And what I did was I started, you know, because I had like my home studio. And so I was just trying to you know, sell like tracks here and there. And the first name I could think of was John McClain, you know, John. So I call up A&M, right? And his secretary answers the phone. And I just explained to her who I am, blah, 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 this and that. She says, okay, then I'll tell John this and that, and, you know, so on, so on. Hung up the phone. I think it was probably a half an hour to an hour. I get a call back, and it's his secretary calls and says, hello, is this Antron Hill? I say yes. Hold on for 1 minute for John McClain. And my eyes just got so big. Now my heart's pumping. My heart is pumping now. I'm like, this got to be a joke, you know. And then John gets on the phone, and we talk and everything, and he flies me out to talk to me. And that's how it got started. And I was in shock. I mean, he flew like me out, put me in a hotel, the whole 9 yards. And then I went back home in shock. But he also had gamed me up because I believe that one of his main producers at the time was Brian Loren, right? I believe something
exactly,
like that.
Exactly right.
And he even had walked through on there, and John just started, you know, explaining to me, because it's like I had like 4 tracks, right? And I was young. So like being young, you know, I figured, you know, oh, man, I'm going to play like these tracks first, and then I'm going to play this track last, because this track is the bomb track. And John says, he was, you know, just bobbing his head to him. And then when I play like the last track, he says, why didn't you play me this track first? You know, I'm young, you know, and he says, I say, well, you know, I thought I should hit you with the bomb track last, you know, just being young.
Right.
And he said, no, you always play the track that you think is your best track first. He said that if you wasn't who you were after the first 2 tracks, you would have been escorted out of here. He said, but this track right here, now I can hear what you was doing with the tracks. And so I'm going to hook you up, seeing, and I know where you can go. And he gave me this big, giant Bible-sized book on how to write songs and the chemistry of writing songs, and about the techniques of writing songs. And he brought up a song, Georgie Porgy Puddin' Pie or something like that. And he was directing me into how to create hooks and what hooks. And that the last song I played for him had a catchy hook to him, and he understood that. And so everything that I learned from John, I would bring back to the group. And matter of fact, I would even help Raphael Sadiq write on songs like Hidden Evergreens, give him different concepts on how to say the same thing a different way. Instead of saying picture, we came up with without your 8x10 by my side instead of your picture by my side. Things like that, And because, hey, if John is going to give me this book, I'm going to read this book. This John McClain here. There's no time to play.
Right.
So that's how it just went. That's just how it went.
Man, dude, let me tell you, man, that to me, I don't know about anybody else, but that story is incredible because I know what that is all about, man. That's incredible, and it's inspiring to me because you were 17, 18, however old you were, young, still a teenager, and to get that kind of attention from an icon like that's life-changing, that was wanted to change your life at that time, and is amazing. And then you talked about he offered you to work with people like O'Brien, Shanice. I mean, O'Brien is like a really good friend of mine, man. And O'Brien gave me one of my first starts in the music business, man, when I first was trying to come up. And I want to send a shout out to O'Brien because I love that dude to death. But this was O'Brien, the artist O'Brien you were getting ready to work with.
Yes.
And then Shanice, oh my gosh, what Brian Loren did with her first album was just so funky, man. I was a fan. So what was that like, man? So you did you go in the studio with O'Brien or what? How did that happen?
What happened was, John, once we had like the first meeting, then he flew me back out there. And I don't know, because at A&M, it was like studio A, B, or C, I'm not too sure on which studios that we were in. But it was one of them. And he wanted to use two other tracks that he had heard from me for them. And so I had to relay the tracks down because back then, it's not like, you had the whole, digital thing going on where you can just take your stuff and just bam, it's there. So I had to recreate these tracks. And so I redid the tracks, and they came back nice, funky. I did the one for Shanice, one for O'Brien, and he was scheduling, me back to do some more tracks, just to work at A&M, which caused a conflict of interest. And the conflict of interest was from the first meeting of me coming from A&M back to my hotel, the CEO of our company Ed Eckstein seen me in LA. And he said, Strun, what are you doing out here? I said, man, I'm just trying to do some work, And he said, Strun, well, man, it's work at our label too. I said, man, I'll work wherever it is you need me to. I said, I'm just trying to work, and that's it.
So you were just basically looking for work as a producer, still being a member of the group, but working outside the group and producing records and doing your thing just as a producer, looking for work as a producer, which is cool. You just, they're just not just establishing other income streams for yourself, correct? Just
Right.
basically, which is smart to me, which is smart. But then, when did the thing in the Bay Area start, man? Because dude, the work that you did, the Bay Area has a sound, man. The Northern Cali has a sound, just like down south, just like east, just like west. The Bay Area has a sound that, that's been created by some of the greats, man. And, we have you to thank for that, man. Name some of the Bay Area artists that you work with.
Okay. First of all, I came in once I started, after I got myself back together. One of the first Bay Area artists that I started working with was a guy named Messy Mars, who came around. He was an underground cat, and he was doing bad. And so, and so I did the Bonnie and Clyde album for him. I controlled the Bandanas, Tattoos, and Tongue Rings album. And then I controlled the Disobey album. And so that's one. But in between that time, I've worked with Juice. I've worked with Be Legit, Yuck Mouth, even some guys from SAC, Sibo.
Wow.
Let me see who else. Even 40 has hopped on a track of mine when he was helping out someone else, but they didn't know it was my tracks because a lot of people would never tell them. They'd tell them my name, but they'd never tell them how to contact me. So it's like, oh yeah, Richie Rich, guys like that. And so it's like, oh yeah, right. Jay Stalin has hopped on the track. He's never met me, but he still has hopped on the track and never knew it was me. Because I have a Tron Treasy online thing to where you can just go online and punch in Tron, hit the spacebar Treasy, and then you get all of these tracks that are just like just musical tracks. I have some comps on there with a whole bunch of folks on there, but it's just music tracks. And it was funny because one day my wife was scrolling through online and she was like, Tron, isn't this your track right here? Because the tracks are for lease and whatnot, And I was like, yeah. And some members of the Dog Pound had took one of my tracks and threw Pac on it. Wow. So now,
wow.
I'm sitting back, I'm listening to my track that I just put on there just, for folks to have fun with. And then here comes Pac. They got a verse with Pac on there. I was like, wow.
Wow. Wow. So did they handle the business? Was the business right? And did they license the track and all that?
They they just used it, and I just didn't trip off of it, I'm handling a lot of my business more so now that I'm older and I'm, wiser and have kids and everything now, wife and kids.
Right.
I'm very much more wiser. But even when I do tracks for like Slim Thug or Paul Wall, or Chameleonaire, or even when Little Flip had hopped on a track of mine that he didn't know that it was my track. The funniest thing about this is nobody knew my background. They just heard the music and said, yeah, that's the track I want. And that was so cool to me because under Tron Treasy, it gave me a new identity. And, that's something that we could talk about or not. But
let's get into that. Let's just touch on that real fast. Yes.
Well, how Tron Treasy came to pass is because of after the whole Tony's deal and how they did us and whatnot, I was really down. So instead of Icecream, I said, well, then I'm just going to change up everything. So somebody had came up and they said, Tron Treasy, and when Sugar Free had came down, he was like, man, you got that stuff. You got that stuff. And the reason why I changed my name is because I was so embarrassed about using Icecream or even mentioning that I was from the group Tony, is because it wasn't reflecting my house wasn't reflecting. The things I had wasn't reflecting. Plus, a lot of people was just paying attention to those three, and they didn't know it was a 6-member group. So that's when I came up with, well, I didn't, somebody did. They just started saying, Tron Treasy, and they kind of just stuck. And so, but the reason why I changed it from Icecream is because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of people just saying, yeah, right, man, he's one of the guys from that group. But then they looking at me like, he don't look like he comes from that group. My self-esteem and everything was so down. I just, it's a long story. But I'm writing a book about it, so
man,
you'll find out a whole lot more about it.
I can't. Your story is amazing, man. I can't wait for the book. But listen, man, you have nothing to hang your head on, but just love, man, because you're very rich. You're rich. Rich and wealth just ain't about money, my brother. You're loved by the world, man. You're more richer than you think. You're more richer than most people, man. And because you love, man, this story is a rich, deep story. So I can't wait for the book, man. Real quick, man, before we close, production wise, what are you doing these days? Who you working with, and that good stuff?
Well, I have an artist in Texas. I'm kind of keeping him kind of like on the low right now. That's really a talented guy, and he hit me up. He sent me some tracks of his, and he's very, very he's off to victory. He's very, and it's just that 3TOB has been keeping me so busy.
Got you.
I haven't really been in the lab to do much more stuff. Plus, I'm learning a whole new system, which after we get off this thing, I'm gonna go back in the lab because there's still some more stuff I'm still learning to make sure that my sound is coming back the way I want it to come back.
Awesome.
You know, so I have an engineer that'll be here to make sure of that. And so besides that, I'm willing and able to work with. I'm open to work with whoever it is. It's not an issue. You know, it's not an issue. I have helped out a lot of people. A lot of people, which as you can say, that are gatekeepers. You know, they're people like we should have been taught. You know, it's a lot of people who how can I say it? They'll block you from getting to the next level or the next step, when they can easily say, hey, man, you know, I got this cat here and I know, hey, man, this cat can do this and that and he's good. You should just try him out. Listen to him. No, they totally tried to take my whole identity away. So I'm just taking it back.
Listen, man, we connected now. Ain't nobody can do about it. And you know what I'm saying? We connected now, man. And I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of your history, man. Everything you've accomplished, and what I know you still got a lot more to do. And I'm you know, I know 3TOB has got you guys busy. And I really, man, appreciate you taking out the time to hang out with me, man. Do me a favor, man. You know, tell everybody how they can hook up with Tron Treasy.
Okay. You got you have Antron Icecream Haile. That's on Instagram. You have Antron Haile on Facebook. You know, if you don't know how it's spelled, it's Antron, and Haile is Haile. And I also have a Tron Treasy fan page on Facebook also that you can hit me at also. And just like I said, I have the Tron Treasy. Hit the space bar, and Treasy is Treazy. And you can have a lot of fun with just tracks that I've done in the past, and you might find something there that you might like, you might want to play around with. Plus, I have a few comps on there, featuring cats from Sacramento to down south to just everywhere. I have the Thug Nation album and the Treasy Streets album. That's it.
I love it. I love it. So there it is. So, you know, people, go check his music out. I mean, the brother's telling you he's got a lot of his music out there for licensing. And trust me, I've heard a lot of his music, and this is an iconic producer as well as a keyboard player, band member. And man, I appreciate you, man. You're just, as a husband, as a father, as a mentor, I'm sure. And just as a brother, man, and I'm proud of the work that you've done, the history that you have made, and the history that you're about to make. And all you guys, man, you're part of a great group of talented, some of the best musicians in the world. You guys are, man, and I'm honored, bro, that you took some time out to hang out with your brother, man. It really means the world to me, man. And like I said, bro, you know, we connected now, man, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. So whoever the gatekeepers are, skedaddle, scram. You know, it's a wrap now, man. Listen, man, we're gonna put a button on it, man. But I appreciate you, man. I love you, man. I'm gonna be praying for you and the band, you know, for your many successes, and for everything you got coming. Remember, man, you know, you're a very rich dude. I see it all the time. Every time I see you on your Instagram, man, I just see it with you, man. And yeah, there's a lot we've all been through, man. We've all been through stuff, and but the fact, man, that that we have people around us, that determines, that's everything, man. That's our peace. That's our wealth. That's You know, that's our mental, that's everything, man. And that can't be bought, that can't be taken away, man. We determine that. And dude, I see it on you, man. And dude, you know, we gonna hang out, bro. We gonna do some stuff, man. And I'm gonna be at you about some stuff, man. In fact, you got my email address, man. So let's start passing some music back and forth and see what we can get going. All right, for sure.
Man, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. A lot of producers out there, they don't know the difference between being a producer and being a musician. And I don't care who I am around. I feel like I can learn something from them. You know, I don't care if it's Beethoven, Bach, or Little John. It's something that Little John does with them 3 fingers that makes his sound work. And so I'm always willing to learn, and I'm so happy and grateful. And I'm just really hoping and wishing and praying, and can't wait to be able to work and work with you, man, because you have put your work in. See, now you don't have to name off all the people you done work with. You know, your catalog speaks for itself. Thank you so much.
Y'all give it up for my little brother, Antron Haile, a.k.a. Tron Treasy, a.k.a. Icecream. Love you, man. Love you, boy. Love you, man, for real.
Man. Love back.
Right on, man. All right, man. We out of here.
DOA playlist. Let's get the funk out.